One thing I did forget to mention in the beginning of this when I was talking about what we're going to be covering is the idea of how we're going to apply any of this to real life. And I plan to do at least two per section, where a section is the A1 or A2 at particular points. So we're going to be doing an example involving polynomials which has its relation to economics. So we have the cost of producing n items in a factory is given by this. So the cost in terms of the number of items is 0.4n squared, take away 500n plus 10,000. That should say measured in euros. I'll fix that typo once this video finishes. So firstly, explain the significance of C0. Now this notation you'll remember from Junior Cert. We are going to cover it again in functions, but it basically means that note that n is the general form of this equation. So when n gets replaced with 0, it's the exact same in this as well. So C0 is the cost of producing no items. The significance of that is that in the business world, if you've done business previously, we will probably discuss this a few more times, but this is what we call the sort of overheads. So that accounts for any light that's being used, any electricity, or even the wage of some workers. So if they don't produce anything but still keep the factory running, it's going to be 10,000 in a particular time frame. So part B evaluates C200. So if Cn is 0.4n squared, take away 500n plus 10,000, then C of 200 is just subbing 200 into that expression. So it's 0.4 times 200 squared, take away 500 times 200 plus 10,000. Okay, so the net cost actually works out to be something negative. It works out to be minus 74,000 euro. And then part C is asking, is it effective to produce 400 or 500 items? So we're going to evaluate C400, C500, and then see which one makes more sense in the context. So 0.4 times 400 squared, take away 500 times 400 plus 10,000. So C400 is minus 126,000. And then the case of 500, it's minus 140,000. So in this case, because it's more negative, it's costing the company less. So it's more effective to produce 500 items. It's actually going to make them 14,000, well, 14,000 less in the cost, which is 14,000 more in profit. But so long as you state your answer, if it doesn't say why, you can just leave that bit blank.